It's time to go inside the Octagon, presented by Ram Trucks with our own Ariel Helwani. And just like Toucan Sam, we are going to follow our nose. Ariel, what do you got for us, pal?
That was cheap, Chael. That was very...
That's what we in the business call a low blow.
All right, fair enough. I'll get you back. Don't worry about it. All right, I have some potentially good news and bad news regarding women's MMA right off the top. What do you want first? Good or bad news first?
I'll take the good.
All right, let's go with the good news. I'm being told from sources close to the negotiations that the talks between the UFC and Holly Holm are progressing and they're in a good place. Not a done deal just yet, but I'm told they're going well. Now, as for the bad news, potentially bad news, I'm being told that the talks between the UFC and Gina Carano have stalled. They're not dead. They are, still interested in working together, obviously. And here's kind of the good news on that front. Gina Carano is officially a free agent. Her contract with Strikeforce has expired, so she's free to do whatever she wants. But I have been told, as of right now, the talks have stalled.
Very interesting. Well, I'm sure Gina Carano will stay busy either way. What other nuggets do you have for us, Ariel?
Guys, I spoke to Vitor Belfort's wife, Joanna Prado. Remember Vitor Belfort, Chael? You were supposed to fight? That's a different story for a different day. Anyhow, she told me that Vitor has now set his sights on the winner of Lyoto Machida versus Chris Weidman. Now he has refocused his attention on that middleweight title. And she also said that the UFC has told them that he will get the winner of that fight, which of course takes place next weekend in Las Vegas. So all of a sudden, Vitor Belfort back in that title mix.
I don't know that I disagree with that, Kenny. I'd like to see Vitor in for the title, and if not, you know who I'd like to see him with? A rubber match against Dan Henderson.
I love that idea, definitely.
All right, Ariel, keep it moving.
All right, well, this is some good news, guys. Some very promising news. And Kenny, I know you're going to like this one because he's a favorite of yours. I spoke to Dominick Cruz's manager and trainer, Eric Del Fiero, and he told me that Cruz's training is going well, progressing, no stumbling blocks or anything like that. And they've really zeroed in on late August, early September. He also said that he really likes the matchup between Cruz and Takeya Mitsugaki next because he thinks that that fight would get them right back in the mix in that title picture. Now, I spoke to Mitsugaki's camp, and they told me that they obviously love that matchup. Who wouldn't want to fight Cruz in his return? But late September makes more sense. And get this. This is the reason why. Mitsugaki had a procedure done on his ear last year. And then he had the second part of the procedure done very recently. What they had to do was he had an infection, like deep in his ear. They had to remove his entire ear, take it off of his head, and then clean it out, fix the infection, heal it, and then put the ear back in, stitch it up, heavy bandage, all that stuff. So he's recovering from that. It went well, but he's only going to be available earliest late September.
Ariel, you are absolutely right. I'm excited about that Dominick Cruz, news. I can't wait for him to get back in the Octagon, and I like that fight against.
And I think Mitsugaki's been on a roll. I think Mitsugaki is on the very short list for top contenders in that way. Why not have them two figured out?
Definitely. Ariel, what else you got, man?
Well, I spoke to Stipe Miocic's manager, Greg Kalikas, and he told me that there had been some talks of Stipe Miocic fighting Alistair Overeem on that September 5th show in Connecticut. But unfortunately, Stipe is not going to be ready to fight on that card because he's dealing with some herniated discs in his back. He actually suffered this injury before the Maldonado fight, but he didn't want to pull out. The UFC, they had to pick up Maldonado after Dos Santos got injured, and he didn't want to leave them hanging. So he fought that fight injured, but it was really bothering him. So now he's doing physical therapy, 4 to 6 weeks left. They want that fight against Overeem, hoping to have it in around October or so, and they're also very interested in the fight against Junior Dos Santos. Now, Overeem, it's unclear at this time if he'll remain on that card. The UFC is obviously interested in that fight, so they may just save him for when Miocic is ready.
I think when he's looking at that kind of competition, it is for the best that he get himself as close to 100% as possible. All right, Helwani, we got to wrap it up. You got time for one more nugget. What do you got?
All right, how about an update on Mike Brown, one of the good guys in this sport? I think everyone would agree on that. He was really hoping to have one more fight in his home state of Maine. That's what he's really wanted throughout his entire career. Of course, the former WC featherweight champion. He had been dealing with some neck problems, was on the fence about retirement, but once he found out that the UFC was going to Maine, he wanted to give it a go. Unfortunately, in training, he tore some cartilage in his knee, so he's not going to be able to fight August 16th in his home state. He's hoping for maybe one more, but he's really transitioned into that coaching role over at ATT, so he's not sure if he's going to be able to have one more fight.
Yeah, Ariel, that is unfortunate news, but I tell you what, Mike Brown is such a great coach over at ATT. Everyone speaks so highly of him, so he definitely has a career over there at ATT as a coach.
And a WEC legend, I would like to add.